Football Queensland's coverage of the 2019 NPL, NPLW and FQPL season is brought to you by IFCA, Australia's only national football-specific coaching conference, 25th and 26th of May on the Gold Coast. Get your delegate pass today at ifcca.com.au. Play football. Join the team today. Visit playfootball.com.au to find your nearest club. Football Foundation, making football more accessible for every income, every gender, every ability, every background, every Indigenous Queenslander. Donate today.
Welcome to John Frederick Park, rather chilly John Frederick Park, certainly for this part of the world anyway, from a Queenslander's perspective, for this Football Queensland Premier League clash between Capalaba and South United. Simon Smale on the call for you this evening, and it's a pleasure to have you with us for what should be a very interesting game. South United, not the team that they were last year, the same team that got to the semi-finals. In fact, in terms of personnel, they're completely different, not a single player in the squad from the last time these two sides met, when Souths won by 2-0. Capalaba, on the other hand, well, they're flying. They've won 3 on the bounce in the league, scoring 4 goals in each of those 3 matches. The only blemish coming away at Lions in the FFA Cup. That was a 3-0 reverse, but in terms of league form, Capalaba will be chomping at the bit to be back out here after a 2-week break for both Easter and that FFA Cup tie. As for South United, they have just picked up the 1 win so far this season against the Southside Eagles by 3-2. Other than that, it's been a pretty torrid time. A draw against Rochdale, and then a 5-1 defeat against Logan Lightning, 3-1 against Ipswich Knights, and 2-1 last time out against Wolves. In the FFA Cup, things got even worse. They suffered a 10-1 reverse at Brisbane Strikers, who granted are a league ahead, but had not won in the league at home that season. It was Anzac Day on Thursday. Our teams will have a minute's silence, as kicked off by Zizad Ametovic, our Total Tools referee. Impeccably observed, as you'd expect, between the two sides and the supporters in attendance. A smattering of supporters around the ground here on what is a chilly night, contrasting with our perfect conditions last night. The wind coming from behind us, blowing across the field. Having said all that, though, perfect conditions for flowing football, and if it's anything like the game that we witnessed last night just down the road at the Cleveland Showgrounds, we are going to be in for a treat. And there's nothing to say that it won't be. Souths did do the double over Capalaba last year, a 3-0 victory here at John Frederick Park and a 2-0 reverse at Wakeley Park. In fact, you have to go back to August 2017 from the last time that Capalaba beat Souths United, and that was courtesy of a Rio Ono 93rd minute winner in a 3-2 thriller. Something similar would not go amiss today. Our Total Tools referees, Izad Ahmetovic is ready. Misuk Park and Lucinda Robertson are on the flanks, and we'll get things underway. Capalaba, the home side, in the blue, kicking from left to right. And instantly into the arms of the South United goalkeeper, Matt Tubbs. So we'll run through the South's lineup first of all. The enormous presence of Tubbs. He will be defended by number 2, Russell Parker, number 3, Luke Watson, number 4, Lachlan Bond, number 5, Jake Callis, number 7, Joseph Klesbo, number 8, Luke Howell, number 10, Jacob Mitchell, number 12, Moses Joseph, number 13, Sunajira Shinawaya, and number 15, Jay Jew. The home side, in goal is Curtis Goodwin, a keeper I'm looking forward to seeing. He's described as a special talent, the 19-year-old, former Surfers Paradise Apollo keeper from the Gold Coast Premier League. Also a junior at strikers and an Australian schoolboy keeper. And I've heard great things, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes. Whether he'll be tested too much is another matter entirely. In front of him will be number 5, Liam O'Brien, number 6, Reece Lambert, number 7, Justin McMullen, number 8, Connor Booth, number 10, Raya Ono, number 13, Nathan Yoon, number 14, Stuart Edgar, who's the joint leading scorer in the Football Queensland Premier League so far this season. As this ball is launched into the middle, it's a weapon that South United will be looking to use over the course of the evening. Helped back in by Joseph. It'll be easily dealt with by Curtis Goodwin, who will get his first touch. We'll continue the lineup. Liam Fisher wearing the number 15 jersey. Number 18 is Christian Carbone. Number 19, Jake Sherwood. Lambert on the ball now. And Booth. Here's Nathan Yoon. He really one of the standout players for the Brisbane Roar Youth over the last couple of seasons. Spent the start of the year at Brisbane Strikers, but has jumped ship and come down the old Cleveland Road towards Capalaba. He's battling away there, but it's cleared well by the South United defence. An opportunity here for Jacob Mitchell. He's done well as Mitchell, but then that's a really good tackle. Really good tackle, in fact, by Jake Sherwood. Former National Premier League's Queensland champion, of course, with Redlands United back in 2016. And indeed, a member of the side that famously beat Adelaide United in the Cup. Yoon spreads the ball to McMullen. McMullen goes wide to Carbone. Carbone will look for an option. He was closed down by Joseph. It's a decent ball into the middle, but there was an infringement as seen by Ahmetovic. It will be a relieving free kick for the visitors in the white. He was a member of that time, Jake Sherwood, who beat Adelaide United, but neither of these two sides will be troubling the FFA Cup for the rest of this season at least. Both suffering defeats, as mentioned in the pre-game. It's an opportunity early doors, though, for Mitchell. Mitchell was always going away from goal and couldn't quite hook his foot around it, but an early opportunity for South United, and Capalaba will need to watch those balls over the top, and Mitchell, live wire that he is, has scored 3 goals in his 3 games for Souths. Didn't do badly with Peninsula Power. Started the season with them. Scored just for 1 in his 2 appearances off the bench at the start of the season, but has dropped back down a league. And see how he goes here, leading the line for South United. It's a South United team that have undergone serious personnel changes, even from the start of the season. We were at Redlands United yesterday when Kato Aochi, who of course scored so many goals for South United last year, scored an absolute cracker. I'm still getting over that one. The second goal for Redlands United in that 3-1 victory. He was at South United at the start of the season, as was Greg Gurley, who's in the Redlands United squad but was missing yesterday. As Capalaba launch an attack here. Good football from the home side. McMullen putting in towards the middle where Edgar couldn't quite get onto the end of it, and that's a rather full-blooded challenge. No free kick on Carbone after that fairly heavy tackle from Klebo. Lovely opportunity now, though, from Mitchell. Good save from Goodwin. First real tester that he's had. And he passed that test with flying colours. And much to my own relief, he's passed the commentator's curse as well. After I gave him the big up in the preview. Made himself big and big enough to perhaps just put Mitchell off, and Mitchell didn't quite set for him though, the ball, just get caught under his feet a little. Again, a good opportunity for South United, searching just their second win of 2019. Russell Parker under all sorts of pressure, he's dispossessed by Booth. Edgar's in the middle, he rises. Joseph got his foot to the ball though. Edgar does well. Edgar with the flash across the face of goal. Yoon was waiting and may still have an opportunity here. Capalaba, it's flicked in again. Was there a handball? There was a handball. It's a penalty. I don't know how much the defender knew about it, but the hand was there and it did deflect the ball away from its path towards Nathan Yoon. It's going to be an opportunity, I think, for Yoon to take the penalty. He's getting plenty of advice from both McMillan and Ryo Ono. Ryo Ono, who scored 15 goals last season in 24 matches in the Football Queensland Premier League, but did not score against Souths, one of just 3 teams he didn't. Here's Nathan Yoon, confidently stroked home. That's a perfect start for Capalaba. They lead South United by a 1-0, somewhat against the run of play in these early stages. But that won't bother them, and it won't bother 19-year-old Nathan Yoon. That's his first goal for the club, and it came from the spot after a somewhat unfortunate handball. The discussions are still ongoing with Zijad Ahmetovic and Moses Joseph. But what can Souths do to rebuild that? That was one hell of a lead. Might have to alert air traffic control if Russell Parker's going to keep getting that sort of... Here come Capalaba again though. Stuart Edgar forced to check. Slid away, might still fall for Edgar, but it hasn't. South will take the ball away with Dew making his first appearance for the club tonight. Switched by Sherwood. South United throw in. It's not quite how Ryo Ono saw things, and he was hoping to get things moving fairly quickly. I mentioned Ryo Ono hadn't scored against Souths last year. He didn't score against Ipswich Knights and Sunshine Coast Wanderers. He's already rectified the situation against Knights, scoring a brace in that 4-1 victory. As already mentioned, he did score twice in the Flight Centre Brisbane Premier League match between these two sides, round 21 in August of 2017. The latter coming in the 93rd minute. Here's Nathan Yoon getting in behind the defence. It was well dealt with by Tubbs. Got him right behind Luke Watson though, and Yoon was slow to get back to his feet, but is trotting back into an onside position now. It's poor from Tubbs. It was Carbone who heads the ball clear, has another attempt at it and gets the ball up towards Edgar. Carbone will go back though to Fisher. Fisher switching play all the way over to the back and the edge of his own penalty area with Jake Sherwood. Sherwood spraying that ball wide towards Ono. And that will be a corner kick. Exceptional pace from Ono. Showing his threat. He picks up the ball again from the short corner. Delivers a looping cross, a teasing one onto the head of Edgar. Another player who got some serious elevation from the jump. Couldn't get that ball on target though, and it'll be Bit of a relieving goal kick for South United, who started brightly but have certainly gone onto the back foot now, 10 minutes into this one. Long way to go yet, but that penalty somewhat relieving for David Booth's side, who spoke in the match day programme today, saying that training had been excellent and there's a desire within the club to keep going and keep pushing onto that next level. But they needed to be disciplined in all areas and composed in front of goal. You can certainly say that about Nathan Yoon and the way he took that penalty. Incredible composure from the teenager. Sitting in 4th spot, the final place in the finals picture in this admittedly early stage of the season. We are only in round 7 after all, the majority of clubs indeed having only played 5 games. Capalaba and Souths amongst them. Sherwood just twisting and turning a little bit, launching that ball forward towards Lambert. Lambert made nuisance of himself. Sorry, it was O'Brien over on that far side. Made nuisance of himself, but not enough to win the ball. And Souths will build from the back with Matt Tubbs. Tubbs, who played many years with Southside Eagles in Capital League 1. And had a short spell with Logan last year, just 5 games in the Football Queensland Premier League. Lambert had to check his pass towards Carboni, who was running on, oblivious to the fact that he might have needed to check his run thanks to the attentions of Joseph Klebo. Still Calabar ball. Carboni's in a lot of space on this side of the field. If he can be found, I think that'll be the intended target from this pass by Lambert. It was a ill-directed pass though, and far behind Carboni, and it's a turnover to Souths. Joseph's throw. Klebo couldn't get hold of it, just checks with the referee as to why it wasn't a foul in his favour, as Yoon does brilliantly to control the ball with his back to goal, plays it wide to Edgar, gets the return ball. Good defence though from Joseph, and he wins the free kick as well. Excellent link-up play by Nathan Yoon. He's diminutive in stature, but such good close control, and you could see that all the way through his career with the Brisbane Roar Youth. It didn't work out in terms of professional contract at Brisbane Roar. He's still a talent and more than capable of doing plenty of good work at this level at least. I actually thought he was a good pick-up for strikers at the start of the year. Strikers whose season isn't quite going to plan in the National Premier League's Queensland. Almost getting caught under the foot of Jake Callis there and caught in the grass. Does look quite long from here and down on pitch level, in fact, where I was watching the previous match, the National Premier League's Women's Queensland Clash, where Capalaba narrowly were defeated by Moreton Bay United, who went back top of the National Premier League's women's competition. Joseph comes flying across and hammers that ball into the bushes behind our commentary stanchion here. Of all the ones in the league, isn't perhaps the most sturdy, but fantastic elevated position of the field of play. More than fit for purpose. Here's Lambert. Inside to Booth, but Booth overran it somewhat and is picked off by Callis, the South United captain. South's looking to attack down the right. They come back inside. That's nice football. Really nice football for Shibuya. Shibuya still has time on the ball, the debutant. Decent cross. Oh, rather got in each other's way there, the two South United players. Klebo has really left his mark on Mitchell. Mitchell in all sorts of trouble inside for Capalaba penalty area, and it was all Josef Klebo, who's only played for one game this season, the former Centenary Stormer. Also of Natalie of Mitchelton in the BPL. Look, immensely built. Certainly managed to catch Jacob Mitchell just in the wrong area. Has trotted off under his own steam, and it'll be a drop ball, in fact, an uncontested one. Edgar will just hammer this one gently towards Matt Tubbs. I think there's a call of boring down to our right. I think they call it sportsmanship elsewhere around the world. Obviously not in Capalaba, but the fans entitled to their own view. It certainly brought a smile to our dials up here in our commentary booth. Luke Watson, the former Capalaba Bulldog, played 23 games over the past 2 years, including 3 at the start of this season before making the switch to South United and the Wakeley Park side. His long ball forward though is cut out, and it's Capalaba on the attack again. Carboni with a neat little through ball. Booth had made the run, and well, that gives you an illustration of just how gigantic Matt Tubbs is. Connor Booth, apologies, certainly not the biggest, but he's what you'd call average size, and he is completely dwarfed by the gigantic figure of Tubbs. Another neat little bit of play over on the left-hand side of your screen by Shinjiro Shibuya. I absolutely butchered that pronunciation, apologies any offence. Long ball through to Edgar. Edgar flashes that one across the face. He knew as soon as he struck it just past the gigantic figure of Tubbs that it wasn't on target. He is hoping for a corner, I think. Certainly incredulous that it wasn't given. Not too far away, the club's leading goal scorer and joint leading goal scorer in the division. He's described by his coach, David Booth, as the most promising striker in the league. Latch on to through balls like that. It's easy to see why. Headed clear by Jake Sherwood, and then Lambert is fouled. Capalaba play on quickly. Lambert plays the ball forward. Nobody was making a run. Furtive glance from Ryo Ono, the only illustration that perhaps it was intended for him. Joseph's forced back for South United. Here's the captain, Callis. Well watched by Callis. Good link-up play with Mitchell. Callis on the charge. Battling with Lambert. Lambert perhaps infringes. No foul though, says the referee. South still have possession, but they've had their pockets picked by Lambert now, and the ball's played up forward. Lambert again linking up play with Edgar. Edgar to Carboni. Carboni, lovely footwork from Carboni to go past Joseph. Carboni with the cross, it's punched clear by Tubbs. And Joseph did recover enough to get that ball upfield towards Klebo, and Klebo has given something for Mitchell to think about. Well covered though by Curtis Goodwin. Referee Zihad Ahmetovic has just wanted a conversation with Russell Parker, I think. No, sorry, Luke Watson. Joseph Klebo is very unhappy, but Souths were unable to capitalise on Curtis Goodwin being out of position. He launches himself now and comes and claims that incredibly confidently. Early days, I know, but I like what I see from this youngster. One of many hugely talented goalkeepers in the National Premier Leagues and Football Queensland Premier League. Cue for a comment like the future of keeping's in safe hands in Queensland or something similar. Sherwood for Capalaba now, looking for an option ahead of him, finds Booth. Back with Sherwood. Sherwood switches play to Carboni. Carboni is challenged by Joseph. Carboni finds Edgar inside. Edgar with the cross. Booth jumped and headed thin air. Oh no! It was blocked by Parker. Still there for Capalaba though. Sherwood. And if he had his time again, he would want the ball back and would perhaps just gently loft that one towards the back post where Stuart Edgar was lurking. But nevertheless, really good football from Capalaba. Ono was allowed to cut back inside and let fly with his right foot. And Ono, such a talented player, you do not want to allow that to happen too many times. Tubbs is unhappy with his contact on that one. It was picked up by Callis, and Callis appeals and gets the free kick for a handball. Takes it quickly. Parker's continued his run. Shibuya ignored him. Shibuya wants to do everything himself for number 13 for South United, and he's making a pretty good fist of that at the moment. Inside to Jew. Shibuya with a cross-come shot that was fairly comfortably dealt with at the back by Capalaba. Will still be a South United throw though. Souths have another throw. Parker wanting to take command of the situation now. He's giving himself a run up. Klebo comes. Oh, if 20 yards from 25 yards can be considered short, then comes short for it. He comes again and gets his head to that one. Still there for South United, but it was a poor cross, and Capalaba will break down this right-hand side. Who's got the legs? Edgar didn't quite have enough to take it past Joseph. Good defending from the South United left back. Shibuya's looked lively so far, and he's gone past two Capalaba defenders there. Checks on a third, can't get past the third, although was there a shout for a penalty on Jake Sherwood? There was a shout, but I don't think it was worth shouting for. Looked like Sherwood did just enough and got the ball. Shibuya though looks a live wire down that right-hand side for South United, and having said that, he's slow to get to his feet and is just sort of languidly limping back into position now, perhaps out of frustration or perhaps just trying to run off a bit of a dead leg. Gets a tap on the back from Jake Sherwood, just making sure that it was okay. There was contact, but Sherwood got the ball. It was pretty clear from this angle, and that's certainly how Armetovic, our Total Tools referee, saw things as well. Capalaba will go again. Carboni had so much time and space. Cuts back inside to Lambert. Lambert's opening up for him a little bit here. Still opening up for Lambert. Will Lambert have a go with his left foot? He doesn't. Pays it wide to Ono. Ono chips the ball inside. It's there, is it, for Connor Booth? It was taken off him. Sherwood, then the header from Yoon. Well off target. Stuart Edgar, another player who didn't score against South United last year. Despite scoring 19 goals in 23 games, his list of clubs, but he didn't score against slightly longer Logan, Peninsula Power, Mitchelton and East in that list. Got his goals in bunches, including here this season as well. He scored a hat-trick last time out against Holland Park Hawks. Scored 6 in his last 4 games for Capalaba. He's a threat. You can just see that threat all over the field, although he's given away a free kick there, a free kick that was taken incredibly quickly by Mitchell and ill-advisedly as well, because he tried to catch Curtis Goodwin off his line, and Curtis Goodwin wasn't far off his line, certainly not far enough to have a look for that, and nevertheless the free kick was woefully wide of the target. Disappointing for South United. That was a promising position. Midway through the first half, Booth feels like he was impinged. Some hand gestures, trying to illustrate his point. Starometovic takes it on board. Booth can't get onto the end of that one, but McMullen will. McMullen still will. Plays the ball inside towards Edgar. Flag stays down. It was a beautiful pass by Justin McMullen. And Stuart Edgar gets Capalaba's second. Perfectly timed run, at least according to Lucinda Robertson on this near side. You hear the response from the crowd at Stuart Edgar getting another goal, and he's broken that duck that I just mentioned about not scoring against Souths in the 2018 season. He now has 7 in his last 4.5 games. You have to say, Capalaba, after weathering something of a storm in the first 10 minutes or so, have probably deserved that. Joseph does well, just to nip in ahead of Christian Carbone then. Carbone remonstrates with himself. Good work from the left back. He'll take the throw that his hard work earned. Clebo full of running in this first 25 minutes or so of this match. Can't make anything of it though. Yoon's touch a little bit too weak for Booth. Booth's going to challenge Jeju. Jeju continued his run. Good advantage being played by Zijad Ahmetovic. Jacob Mitchell's pleading his case. I don't think he'll get too far in his protestations. Certainly looked like he came in a little late. And when no advantage was forthcoming for Capalaba, the whistle was blown. It's good refereeing from our Total Tools official. It's exactly what you want to see. Here's McMullen. Fisher. Only tried to make the ball do the work. Throws quickly to Edgar. Edgar gets dispossessed by Joseph, but then wins the ball back. Well left by Carbone. McMullen with a deft little chip towards Ono. Ono's going to chip this ball back inside. He fires it in with venom. And it comes off a defender for a corner. Lovely movement up front for Capalaba, who are searching for a third goal here. Already mentioned they've scored 4 in their last 3 matches in the league. Did fail to score against Lions in the Cup. But they're not the first and won't be the last team to fail to get past Warren Moon's defence. They've scored twice already in this game. Booth jumped highest. There's all sorts of infringements going on. Stuart Edgar, pretty upset that he was pinged for a free kick against him there. Incredulous, in fact. Shibuya had the deflection. He's continued his run forward. Difficult one for Goodwin. And Goodwin sends that one straight in our direction. Callis lets the ball do the work. Booth watches it well and nips in to steal that same ball. McMullen was rather crowded out. His wayward pass finds Dew. Mitchell. Untidy from South United, but Howell just gets enough on it to Mitchell. It's played through on goal. It's a penalty. And a yellow card. And a good run forward by Russell Parker is rewarded. Wait to see who it was who was penalised. I think it was Jake Sherwood who was shown the yellow card. He appealed that he tried to win the ball, and good intentions aren't quite enough when you catch the man first. Jacob Mitchell, saved by Curtis Goodwin. In truth, it wasn't a great penalty, but Curtis Goodwin's stock continues to rise. Fantastic opening half hour or so from the teenage goalkeeper. And that's hugely disappointing for South United after all that good work. But that's a good ball from Mitchell, who did just miss that penalty. Shibuya's going to run in. Mitchell's there, doesn't get a touch. Klebo. Back towards Joseph, whose interception of the ball aimed towards Edgar down at the far end started this move in the first place. Apologies for the language if you're easily offended, but Edgar did not agree with that decision. Another little moment of contact between Edgar and Moses Joseph. Joseph, who motioned that he was stamped on by Edgar. I don't quite think it was that aggressive. He certainly put his foot down pretty sharply, did Stuart Edgar, in an attempt to block off the ball. He's been good so far, Moses Joseph, up against severe opposition in Stuart Edgar. It's still a free kick to South United. Jae Ju, 28-year-old Korean, will take it. Tries to go straight for goal. And if you haven't learnt that Curtis Goodwin's a pretty special keeper by now, it might be time to start paying attention. Another promising position for South United breaks down. An opportunity perhaps to mention that IFCA is coming. It's the only football-specific coaching conference in Australia, and it's coming to the Gold Coast on the 25th and the 26th of May. Get your delegate pass today at ifcca.com.au. Graham Arnold will be there. Simon Hill will be there. Adam Peacock of Fox Sports fame, he'll also be there. Oh, that was cute from Goodwin. That was really cute from Goodwin. You don't want to mess around with the ball too much there. And to add insult to injury, that will be a Capalaba ball. It has to be a Capalaba ball, but it certainly wasn't from there, Christian Carbone. Lovely work from McMullen, the two number 7s. McMullen and Klebo having a few words. It's the one wearing blue and the captain's armband for Capalaba who'll be smiling most. Ono went down. Advantage is being played. It was O'Brien, I think, who was upended there. Wants the ball back. Instead it's aimed towards where Capalaba hoped Stuart Edgar had made a run. He hadn't. It'll be a goal kick. I'll come back to Curtis Goodwin. I've already mentioned that David Booth described him as a special talent. He has done nothing in these opening 35 minutes or so to dispel that fact. Incredible ability to marshal his area. He's saved a penalty, albeit a fairly poor one from Jacob Mitchell. Nevertheless, it needed saving. Yoon with the back heel to Booth. Yoon is upended after he played for ball. Capalaba still have possession though. Carbone has McMullen on the overlap. McMullen cuts back inside, aim towards Booth. Booth is upset with himself, but it was a wonderful run. He can't add to the goals he scored against Ipswich Knights and Wolves. He was the winner of the Mike Picton Players Player of the Year award last year, Connor Booth. And in turn was awarded Midfielder of the Year at the club. So that's his calibre. Looks like he's continuing where he left off in 2019. Pressure came from Jeju. It was ineffective. Something for Yoon to chase against the former Bulldog Watson. And Watson gives away a throw-in over on that far side. Capalaba leading Souths United by 2-0. Look well worth their 2-0 lead as well, as things stand. Edgar can't get on the end of that, and Callis comes away with it. Callis leaves it for Jew. Callis is going to go from distance. Again, just a pot shot from Souths United. There's a conversation ongoing between our Total Tools referee and a member of the Souths playing group. Conversations tend to be one way. It was Luke Howell who was showing a little bit of distress over some of the decisions. Maybe felt that he was impeded somewhere in the build-up of that match. Goodwin. Flicked on by Edgar. Ono brings it down at the second attempt. Turn by Edgar. He's rather crowded out of it though, as is Jeju though. Edgar picks it back up. Lovely by Booth. Can't find the return ball. It was somewhat a half effort playing towards both Ono and Edgar. And in the end found neither. It'll be a Souths United goal kick. It's been good stuff from Capalaba so far, the home fans enjoying themselves. It's a tight competition at the moment, albeit early stages, but a win here will take Capalaba joint level top with Logan and Sunshine Coast Wanderers, although those two sides are yet to play. That's the first mistake Curtis Goodwin's made. A sliced clearance that gives a promising position for Souths United to launch an attack. Heavy touch from Mitchell, who saw his weak penalty saved by Goodwin with the score at 2-0 to Capalaba. Capalaba still forced to defend here. Souths United on a rare attack. Got away from him the ball there. And then a free kick is given away. It's Russell Parker again. He's been good going forward, Parker. He won the penalty. He just tried to get a snapshot away there as well, but unable to do so. will take the free kick. He's told to hurry up by Mr. Armetovic. Souths do conspire to get that ball away in the end. Lachlan Bond, a bit too heavy for Joseph, and Joseph then hammers the ball back against the advertising hoardings in frustration. He's out of position, but Capalaba can't capitalise. Lambert goes back to Sherwood. Fisher. Capalaba moving the ball around well at the back, creating space for themselves, making the South United forwards run. Mitchell cuts a rather dejected figure. Now it's Shibuya's turn to chase a lost cause. Yoon opens up for Yoon somewhat. Ono's run forced to check, but then that's really good work by Stuart Edgar. Edgar finds Carbone. Edgar's made a run. Ono's at the back post. He gets a poor touch. He takes it behind for a goal kick, but another promising move. Excellent work rate from Stuart Edgar. He scored one goal already today, and he's still working hard to try and make another for his teammates. Excellent work from the striker. Well watched by Carbone. Edgar will be asked to run. Couple of scores from around the grounds. Wynnum Wolves 1, Mitchelton 1. Earlier on today, Southside Eagles were beaten 4-0 by Logan Lightning, so Capalaba, long way to go yet, but if the result does stay the same, Capalaba will remain 3 points behind Logan Lightning. Sunshine Coast Wanderers, they have an opportunity tomorrow to restore their 3-point gap and go joint top again with Logan if they win by 6 goals against Holland Park Hawks, bottom side Holland Park Hawks, then they will go top. Carbone again watching that well, stops the ball from going through to Joseph Klebo. Good from Joseph. Klebo unhappy. Fair amount of dissent being shown towards our Total Tools referee. Mitchell tries to do too much. Wins a throw-in though. Something Joseph Klebo might want to keep an eye on and perhaps keep a lid on his temper. Occasionally referees get tired of being shouted at. Good throw from Klebo. It's going to come straight back to him, or he'll let it go out for a corner, in fact, via the flag. Opportunity for South United to get one back just before the break. Shinjiro Shibuya swings this one in. Goodwin looked to be blocked, but was unable to claim. Be thankful for the headed clearance. Jeju caught in possession by Edgar. And Edgar launching an attack now. He has 3 players with him. One of them is Ono. Ono takes it past one and it's hammered in at the back post. McMullen got the last touch, I think. In all fairness, they were queuing up for it, Capalaba Bulldogs. It's they who get the goal before the half-time interval, and they now lead South United by 3-0. Really good work by Stuart Edgar. He closed down Jeju and forced the error and forced the turnover. He had Ono on his left, Yoon and McMullen on his right. And when Ono put the cross towards the back post, where it could have been any one of three players really that did get that final touch. That honour though goes to the captain, Justin McMullen. It's his first goal of the season. And the club captain leading by example. He set up the second, he scored the third. Capalaba lead 3-0. There'll be much more time left in this first 45 minutes. It's enough time to run you around some of the other results and scores around the state. In the National Premier League's Queensland, Gold Coast Knights are leading Brisbane Roar Youth by 3-0. It was 0-0 at half time, so the Knights saddled up in the second half. Magpies Crusaders, they're trailing Brisbane City by 2-0 up in Mackay. And the full-time result from the range, South West Queensland Thunder were defeated by the Lions by 4-1. It's half-time here. Capalaba dominating Souths United. They lead by 3-0. Still plenty of action still to happen though, and 45 minutes is a long, long time in football, as we saw yesterday down at Redlands United. We'll have a short break. Simon Smale giving you all the comments and commentary over the course of the evening. We hope you join us for the second half after these short messages.
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit.
It's healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Hi, my name is Asma and I'm from Somalia. Football Queensland has inspired me to continue playing football. Welcome to the
Lies will melt away into yesterday. And we will live on try.
We can land on top, but I'll just pick it up and have a bit of fun.
For them to be given this grand final, which is minute, what a drama that would be. It's an opportunity for White, straight into the penalty area. 1-0 Olympic. The supporters now.
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit.
It's healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
The Quad Series is basically Football Queensland investment into the regional elite player pathway. We would like to provide an opportunity for female and male players across the whole state to reach state team and hopefully beyond to play one day for the Socceroos or the Matildas.
You're trying to get the best players, I guess, from the regions and put them against each other in a competition. You know, when you can bring those types of players together like that, it's beneficial for them all. They get to play tough games. You know, if they think quicker, pass quicker, this is how they can really improve. So, you know, the more meets we have like this with like-minded players is fantastic.
Football Queensland Futsal State Titles run across 9 different age group divisions. Around about 450 to 460 players playing across 3 different venues that we've got, and it's the pinnacle event for futsal here in Queensland.
The highlight for me this weekend is just seeing how many young kids are here, eagerly watching every single match. Can't wait to get on the court to participate and then really enjoying their games and buzzing when they come on.
We want to provide a pathway for players all the way through from a social aspect of futsal all the way through to the highest level. And so the competition acts as a possible pathway and gives them opportunity to get better at the sport. And we also know that the players that are involved in futsal, a lot of them are involved in football as well, and improves their technique across the board.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Hi, my name is Asma and I'm from Somalia. Football Queensland has inspired me to continue playing football. Welcome to the
Lies will melt away into yesterday. And we did great today.
We come out on top, but I'll just give it up and have a bit of fun.
For them to be given this grand final, which is better. What a drama that would be. Opportunity for White. Races for penalty area. 1-0 Olympic. The supporters now. Welcome back to John Frederick Park, where Capalaba lead South United by 3-0. Fairly comfortable first 45 minutes for the hosts as they look to consolidate their position in 4th spot in the Football Queensland Premier League ladder. There were some contentious moments in that first half. South United did have a penalty that Jacob Mitchell saw saved by Curtis Goodwin. There was a slight question mark perhaps over at least one of the goals for Capalaba being offside, although from our angle here it looked like it was quite tight but close. And I trust that Lucinda Robertson, who just came off refereeing the National Premier League's women's contest between Capalaba and Moreton Bay United, and did a fantastic job of that. Certainly rate her to have a better view of me looking down the line as she did. There were some bright points for South United though. Moses Joseph at left back has been impressive. Souths in the white shirts get things going from left to right. Player on the ball now, Sinjiro Shubuaya, number 13 for South United. He was mighty impressive as well. As was Connor Booth though, number 8 for Capalaba. He plays the ball inside to Ono. His cross not available to any of his teammates. It's an appropriate time to perhaps mention that South United have made a substitution. Jourdain Marshall. He is on the field and he has gone up top wearing the number 9 shirt. Another enormous man playing in the South United team, as a number of them just look to be extraordinarily tall human beings. Here's Ono. That's a delightful ball over the top by Ono for Edgar. Good save by Tubbs. One of those extraordinarily large gentlemen in a South shirt. He had to use all of his size there to get down, and get down well to save from Stuart Edgar, who's hunting a brace in this one. He scored a hat-trick last time out and has 7 now in 4.5 games. And to be honest, he probably should have done better in that position. Good save by Tubbs though. Keeps his side in it, or at least any vestiges of being in it that South United still are holding on to. Ono's gone short. It was the decoy that wasn't picked up. It was a head again of Edgar. That time high over the crossbar. Bright start from the hosts. Learned at half-time that Justin McMillan, captain, is playing his 50th game for Capalaba. He capped it off with the 3rd goal just before the half-time break. His goal added to that of Edgar, and the opening penalty by Nathan Yoon, former Brisbane Raw youth product, and latterly of the Brisbane City Academy. Nathan Yoon had a bright first half, linking up play well. Some talented players in this Capalaba side. They look well worthy of their spot, challenging at the top of the Football Queensland Premier League. A spot currently occupied by Logan Lightning, who saw off Southside Eagles at Perry Park earlier today by 4-0. Fairly comfortable victory for Logan. They move top on 5 wins from their 6 matches, for goal difference of +13 with their 15 points. Sunshine Coast Wanderers have a chance to go level when they take on Holland Park Hawks on Sunday. And we'll actually be up on the Sunshine Coast on Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. when Sunshine Coast take on Southside Eagles. Hope you join me on the Football Queensland Facebook page and website, footballqueensland.com.au. Kick-off there is a fairly late 8:30. Opportunity for South United with this long throw in towards the middle. It's headed half clear by Fisher, and then it's hammered clear over on that far side. I couldn't quite see who leathered that ball forward. And he got plenty of it. Throw-ins taken quickly by the impressive Joseph. Back on the ball now, but is asked a little bit too much of him from Jeju, making his debut for South United today. One of 4 players in the South United squad who is making their debut after the Easter break. National Premier League's Queensland sides were in action across Easter. Not so the Football Queensland Premier League side, just a 10-team competition this year. Brian does well, held up by Edgar. Edgar feeds Carbone. Cross comes in towards Edgar. It is plucked out of the air and off his head by Tubbs. The Souths try to get things moving quickly through Callis. Mitchell. He plays a 1-2 with himself. Tempted to bring the substitute Jordan Marshall into play. Here's another opportunity. He makes himself big though, does Curtis Goodwin, and snuffs out the danger. Another good opportunity for Jacob Mitchell and South United that was dispatched and dealt with by Curtis Goodwin. South still in possession though. Here is the substitute. Marshall being squeezed out. Howe. Shibuya. It's over everyone's head. Klebo will give chase. He's being harried and harassed by Carbone. Poor pass by Joseph. And here's Edgar in possession. Yoon. He's all on his own, but has space ahead of him. Pins his ears back, does Yoon. He's brought to ground by Joseph. Joseph could find himself in a little bit of trouble here from our Total Tools referee, Jizad Ahmetovic. No card appears to be forthcoming though. A hugely dangerous position though for South United to defend. Nathan Yoon is holding that as if a waiter. And I think he wants to take responsibility himself. You might have heard a piece of advice coming from the bench. He managed to find the target from his penalty. And this, almost dead in line with the penalty spot, but another 12 yards or so out. Looks like it will be Yoon. He lines it up as if kicking for goal in one of the rugby codes. 3 steps back, 1 step to the left. It was punched clear by Tubbs. He listened to the advice from the bench and did hit the target. Insert adjective as you see fit. Joseph's clearance was blocked. He'll take the throw though. Control for Klebo, but he has his pocket picked. Here's Edgar. Edgar flashes it across the face of goal. Tubbs does brilliantly because Ono was chasing in and Ono would have had a tap in had Tubbs not managed to make an intervention. Up the other end now is South United. Here's Marshall. Marshall on a bit of a run himself. Heavy touch, but gets to the byline, crosses it in. It's headed away by Lambert brilliantly. And Capalaba showing that composure that David Booth was calling for in the matchday programme before the game. And they clear their lines brilliantly. Yoon makes a meal out of that back heel. Manages to stay and maintain possession himself though. Cuts back inside, tries to take on 3 South United defenders. The third was the one that was too many. Now it's up to Sherwood to chase back. Oh no, to Booth. It's opening up for Yoon now. Game really opening up for Capalaba. Yoon can't get a shot past Joseph. It's out for a throw, and Yoon, hands on his knees, had options inside. Ono had continued his run. Edgar was ahead of him. And of course Booth, who started that move, was there waiting. Promising stuff from both sides in the early stages of this second half. Edgar does well to fashion a cross. It's well dealt with by Tubbs. That was nice from Shibuya. He just took on one Capalaba player too many. That man in the form of Lambert. Yoon was well challenged by Parker. Still there for Yoon though. Oh no. It ended up being Shibuya who was back defending after it was he who gave the ball away. O'Brien. Sherwood. Back with O'Brien now. Back inside to McMullen. Playing a half-century of matches today and has capped it with a goal. A little bit of a mix-up there between Lambert and Booth though, and Souths will try to break, but they're unable to do so. It's back in the possession of O'Brien. O'Brien tried to feed Ono. Ono might well get another opportunity here. Instead he wheeled away in frustration and rather missed the opportunity to capitalise after Liam O'Brien regained possession. The 21-year-old former Olympic NPL player, summer signing for Capalaba, who have recruited well and look to be a real threat this season after finishing in 12th and last spot last year. Dare say they won't be finishing there this year. Dew goes down and was fouled. Free kick for South United just inside their own half, taken quickly to Howell. Shibuya's wide, will go through to Shibuya. Howell. Dew. Callis. Marshall was dispossessed, but still there for South United. Over on that far side now, Klebo. Klebo showed far too much of it to his opponent, and ball is hammered clear, but it'll be out for a throw-in, and we've seen how threatening Joseph Klebo can be from these positions. There's a fair set of arms on him. And you've got tall timber of the likes of Jordan Marshall and Jacob Mitchell in the middle. Could cause problems. Shunjiro Shibuya is ghosting in at the back post. Ball won't get anywhere near him though. Connor Booth takes it on the chest and then tries to create some space for himself. Goes down, no foul. Here's Marshall. Marshall tried to find Mitchell. Ball never got to him, and now it's Capalaba on the attack through Ryo Ono. Edgar. Back to Ono. McMullen's on the overlap. It's gone back instead to Edgar. Edgar battling with Joseph. We've said that a couple of times this afternoon. And it will be a Capalaba corner. It's that composure that we've spoken about a couple of times from Capalaba at the back. Connor Booth didn't panic. And although he was dispossessed, Capalaba still managed to maintain their shape, not just assuming that Booth was going to get the clearance away. And they're able to watch and then clear their lines and create an opportunity from which they've won a corner. Excellent football from David Booth's side. Really impressing me so far this evening. Lots of movement in the middle. Sherwood amongst them. It was, I think, Sherwood who rose to meet that ball. No, in fact, it was Liam Fisher, the centre-back. Both he and Sherwood trot back into their defensive positions and do so with alacrity. Good discipline from the Bulldogs. Low trajectory on that one from Tubbs. Straight onto the head of McMullen. Back at the feet of Tubbs though. We'll see if he can go a little bit higher this time. The wind, I mentioned at the start of our broadcast, coming from behind us as you see things. Just gusting a little across the field. Poor pass from O'Brien. Great composure again from Jake Sherwood. Just held his position and Now it's over on the other side of the field that Capalaba will attack. Youn's in the middle, as is Edgar. Fortunately for both of them, Ryo Ono's pass was a little bit too low. He's disappointed, I think, with himself more than anything, and it is the point at which David Booth has decided he needs to make a change, and that change is that Liam Fisher has left the field. I wonder if that might have been an injury, because he seems to have been playing very, very well, the former East's youth player. Nevertheless, he's been replaced by Nick Robinson, a vastly experienced player. Won the Victorian Premier League with Green Gully, the QSL with Strikers back in 2012, before the NPL era. Lambert is fouled. A free kick again in a promising position for Capalaba. So I continue with Nick Robinson's resume. Played with East End, Holland Park Hawks in the BPL, Redlands in the NPL. Had a serious injury though in 2017. Moved up to the Sunshine Coast Premier League with Beerwah and ended up being the top goal scorer. Nick Robinson. Looks like he's slotting in a centre-back today. He's back there as Jake Sherwood, his centre-back partner, goes up to challenge for this free kick, which you imagine will be aimed towards either he or Edgar. It's in between the two of them, towards the smallest man on the field, Connor Booth. And South United will clear. Opportunity here for Shibuya. Shibuya rather gets in a muddle with himself. Good defence though from Capalaba. Robinson getting his first touch. He's turning himself out of trouble and finds Booth, who's back in support. O'Brien back to Booth. Fresh-faced youngster with the flowing locks. That ball did not go out. The whole ball has to be out, remember. Booth, lovely switch pass inside to Edgar. Edgar's dispossessed, has possession back though. Youn on the edge of the area, ambitious, always wide of the target. He was always going to shoot there, Nathan Youn. Matt Tubbs will want to get this back underway as soon as possible. Both sides have made a substitution. Jordan Marshall for the visitors at half-time, and Nick Robinson coming on at the back for Capalaba just a few moments ago. Clebo stands up tall over on that far side, but then the foul is given away by Mitchell. Not for the first time this evening. He's penalised for a push on Sherwood. Rather over-enthusiastic challenge. Again, not for the first time. Frustration growing in the South United ranks. Hasn't gone their way tonight. A missed penalty from Mitchell. And by missed, I mean saved by Goodwin. Sometimes you credit the keeper entirely for those saves. This time it was a 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It was a really poor penalty, to be honest. Ono with the cross towards Edgar. As Capalaba are on the attack once more. Edgar doing battle with Howell. Howell does really well to stand tall and use all of his strength, and he needed to use all of his strength against Edgar then. Edgar does win a corner though. Booth will take. Both hands raised. He swings this one in onto the palms of Tubbs, who punches strongly up towards the substitute, Marshall. Marshall a little bit over-enthusiastic. It wasn't Marshall, in fact, it was Mitchell. We'll listen in. I think an accumulation of tackles coming in. Zizia Metovic, a tall man in his own right. just trying to get his point across to Jacob Mitchell, who's perhaps lucky to escape a caution after these repeated infringements. He's tried to keep his cards in his pocket. To his credit, the official, it's a really good ball in. Parker dealt with it well, though. Again, Stuart Edgar is just a threat in the box. Every time he makes a run, it draws defenders with him. He is the focal point for this Capalaba attack, but they do have so many ways to hurt you. Ryo Ono being one of them, Nathan Yoon the other, and Connor Booth just popping in every so often as well to make his presence felt. Speaking of making presences felt, Nick Robinson has trotted up to contest this corner. Ono has dropped short again. This time he will be used. Cross comes in, it's onto the head of Sherwood, well saved by Tubbs, who was well positioned. Ball goes high out of the effect of the floodlights. Carbone, did he get a little bit of a push on Mitchell then? Mitchell with a furtive glance towards our Total Tools referee. No foul given. I know, just out-muscled there a little bit as that ball to him was played short, but excellent perseverance from O'Brien. He links up with Edgar, and the cross in towards Yoon was a poor one. Here's Jeju. What can South United fashion over on that far side of the field? Shibuya would be advised to get onside. Parker's made a run back post. It does come to Parker, back inside to Ju, and he may well hold his head and look towards the heavens. That was a disappointing way for that move to end. 66 minutes into this game, Capalaba leading South United by 3-0. If you have just joined us, a Nathan Yoon penalty, a Stuart Edgar strike and a Justin McMillan tap-in. The difference between the two sides. South United did have a penalty saved by Curtis Goodwin, a weak effort from Jacob Mitchell. Goodwin did do well to get down to his right to make that save. There's some concern here for Christian Carbone, who's been excellent at the back, former Strikers junior. He's been waved away though, as the trainer for Capalaba Bulldogs. I think there's been a substitution as well for South United in amongst all that. Luke Howell, who's come off? We'll have a look. Nevertheless, it's Fiston Chungu who's on. Booth is beaten to it by Joseph. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell has his pocket well and truly picked by Carbone, who goes to ground rather theatrically, having his feet clipped by a South United striker. Mitchell's X number of fouls in just a few number of minutes. They're totting up of these infringements. A little bit of a mix-up there. Carbone asking a fair amount of Ono. Yoon, good link-up play from Yoon with his back to goal, as he's seen on a couple of occasions. Capalaba have made a switch as well. Josh Sherwood is now on the field. So we have Josh and Jake Sherwood on the field. Booth lets the ball do the work. O'Brien goes back inside. He links with Jake Sherwood. Booth, O'Brien, Booth, O'Brien. Yoon makes a run. It's a poor pass from O'Brien in the end. Souths take the ball out through Bond. Marshall trying to thread the needle to Shibuya. Good footwork from Curtis Goodwin. Lambert with the back pass. Booth going in on Callis. Callis winning out on that occasion. He still has the ball at his feet, does Callis. Snake hips to get past Lambert. Ambitious, hugely ambitious effort to try and catch Curtis Goodwin unawares. Well, I was certainly surprised that he shot from there. Whether or not Curtis Goodwin was, we'll never know, because the ball flew wide of the target, and considerably wide at that. Booth. That's a good pass from Booth to Ono, but a little bit under hit. And then Booth gives away the free kick for clipping Jake Callis, who had managed to continue his run but was impeded, and Capalaba did stop, the free kick being given in the end. Callis quickly to Joseph over on the far side. Back inside to Jew. Joseph hammers it forward in the vague direction of Mitchell. Mitchell's beaten to it by Booth though. Callis goes wide, this time to Marshall. Marshall with the cross, first time. It's off the face, I think, of Sherwood. Jake Sherwood has gone down, he's on his haunches, he's back to his feet though. It will be a South United throw-in. Jake Callis crossing that ball straight into the palms of Goodwin. Goodwin rolls the ball out quickly. Booth with it at his feet now. Edgar lets the ball do the work, gets the better of Parker. Neat little back heel. And then Edgar does just go in on Parker a little bit. It's a neat little back flick by Bond. Ambitious in the circumstances. Tubbs will come forward to take the free kick. Just enough time to remind you that if you are just starting out or if you've been doing it for years, there is a club for you to play football in 2019. 2,200 of them and growing as it happens all around the country. There's bound to be a club that's just right for you or your child. Boys and girls can start playing from a club from the year they turn 6. So what are you waiting for? Visit playfootball.com.au. Cross goes all the way across the face. It's back at the feet of Marshall though. Marshall tries to play in Shibuya. Bit of a conversation happening out on the field between the South players, and I think one of the South players actually got the person who he was directing his eye towards wrong. Well, that sort of sums up things for South United at the moment. Plenty of new faces, plenty of new names, not much cohesion. They're trailing here at John Fredericks Park in the Football Queensland Premier League by 3-0. One of those goals coming from the foot of the man in the number 14 shirt for Capalaba, Stuart Edgar, who's been a menace up front all evening. That's Jake Sherwood's head taking it off Shinjiro Shibuya. It'll be Parker who takes the throw. Parker will wind up and deliver this ball into the middle. There are plenty of tall men in this South United side, including Mitchell and Marshall. Ball landed right in the middle of the penalty area with no South United players near it. It'll be a repeat dose from Russell Parker. Leaning right up against the wire fence, goes on a little bit of an angle and delivers this ball in towards the middle. That was a real manhandled effort from Josip Klebo, who has been a little bit over-enthusiastic, I think it's fair to say, in some of his challenges this evening. That physicality, not what is required. We've seen the end of Stuart Edgar as he trots over to the far side of the field to take his place on the substitutes bench. Another hard graft match for Stuart Edgar. He has scored his 7th goal of the season, his 5th successive game in which he's scored in, and a fine effort from the big man up top for Capalaba Bulldogs. He has been replaced by a defender, I think. Certainly where Luke Behrman is lining up. I think it's Luke Behrman. I'll be able to check that with you shortly. It is Luke Behrman, from a Redlands United youth player. Pace from Chungu. He'll win a corner. The substitute for South United. Is it too late? Still 15 minutes remaining of this one. A lot can happen in 15 minutes. Problem for Souths is they've only scored 7 goals this season. That's a league low. Can they get their 8th of the campaign here from this set piece? Swept in. Bond who got his head to it. Another opportunity. Time. Offside is the decision over on the far side of the field, and I think it's Shunjiro Shibuya who has been pinged. It's frustrating afternoon continues. Good wind launches this one. The wind is starting to pick up a little bit. Yoon jumps incredibly early and then had to wait for a ball to land on his head. He was back on the ground before it got there. A bit too much by Josh Sherwood, and he has his pocket picked. Jeju wants the ball back. He gets the ball back. Headed clear by Sherwood from the cross by Chungyu. Booth takes it upfield. Oh no. Now O'Brien towards Yoon. Yoon wins a throw. Yoon will take quickly to O'Brien. 21-year-old sweeps this one into the middle. It's over the head of Josh Sherwood, whose 2 goals came against Wolves and Holland Park Hawks. So he's got 2 goals in as many games in the league for Capalaba as Josh Sherwood. All his appearances this season have come from the bench. It's his return to the kennel this season. He had spells at Logan Lightning and Holland Park Hawks. It's a South United player down. I think it's Moses Joseph, 24-year-old former Albany Creek player. Might be in a spot of bother here. It's not what we want to see. He's been mighty impressive, has Moses Joseph, in a team that has been going backwards for the majority of the evening. He's limping off the field now. Just enough time to let you know that if you don't follow Football Queensland on Instagram, Twitter or Facebook, you should do. You get all the latest football news and events from across the state at Football QLD for Facebook, for Twitter and Instagram, at Football Queensland for Facebook and YouTube. Well watched by O'Brien. O'Brien has got his skates on here. He's forced to check his run though, is Ono, and O'Brien's efforts are to naught. Lambert sells Sherwood a little bit short. It's opening up though for Capalaba, but that was poor in the end. And South United will break now. It's a nice touch by Shibuya. Shibuya's being challenged by Jake Sherwood. There's two Jay Sherwoods on the field for Capalaba at the moment, just to add to confusion. Nice feet from Goodwin. Bobbled pass out wide to O'Brien, and O'Brien is caught in possession though. Mitchell hustling to try and take things quickly, and then just drops the ball on his head because there is absolutely zero movement ahead of him. There were 6 Capalaba players in attendance and just 3 wearing the white shirts of South United. And if that doesn't tell you much about how the work rate of these two sides has played out over the course of the evening, then nothing else will. That was a neat interplay though between Callis and Klebo. And that was disappointing from Chung Yu. Flashing that ball from an acute angle over the bar. Goodwin will be in no rush to take this as we approach 10 minutes to go. Some discussion between the players in the middle. Jake Callis being particularly vocal, whatever he wanted to get across. Not sure what Carboni was hoping to achieve there. Booth wanted to take the throw, was not allowed to. Behrman will trot up. It's his first meaningful involvement in the match so far. Booth does brilliantly to pick the pocket of Joseph, who's in the middle. Booth's racing into the middle, and it's a side-footed goal. A comfortable finish from Josh Sherwood. It was a mistake at the back by Moses Joseph, who's been excellent so far. But lovely interplay. Connor Booth, well, he won Midfielder of the Year and the Players Player of the Year for a reason here at Capalaba last season. It's for things like that. High work rate, even in the latter stages of matches. It had been a goalless second half, but Josh Sherwood has netted Capalaba's 4th. That's the 3rd game in a row that he's scored a goal in off the bench. And Capalaba are cruising at 4-0 over South United. Eight minutes or so remaining, plus stoppage time. It'll only be consolation, you'd think, if South United are able to get on the board today. They have scored in each of their matches so far this season, even the 10-1 thumping at Perry Park against Strikers in the FFA Cup. So this blank will not please Mark Dykeman. That was a fairly ambitious effort from Chung Yu, but wasn't all that far away from the target. It would have been a spectacular strike. It would certainly have been the goal of the game. But that has been what South United have been resorting to. Fair few pot shots from distance, and what we've seen of Curtis Goodwin so far has been that he will not be caught napping in those situations. Yoon had to be impeded there and was. Booth takes the free kick quickly though. Here's Ono. Ono might have a shot here. He's closed down by 2 South United defenders. Booth's on the edge of the area, goes wide to the goal scorer Sherwood. Sherwood twisting and cutting and trying to find space for a cross. He's unable to do so and ends up playing the ball out instead of to the foot of Berman, and that'll be an opportunity wasted for Capalaba. Here's Chung Yu, the ambitious Chung Yu, who's been shooting every time he's got on the ball since he's come onto the field in the latter stages of this second half. Good football from Callis. It's a really good run from Callis. Callis squares just too far ahead of Mitchell. Lovely football from Jake Callis, former Holland Park Hawk and Albany Creek Excelsior player, darting diagonally across the field, taking it upon himself to inject some impetus into this South United performance. South United are making one final stop, final change, and nobody told Curtis Goodwin that that was happening, because Jacob Mitchell has trotted over to the far side of the field to make way. A frustrating afternoon for him. South United going for a fair bit of a change. That's the first mistake we've seen from Goodwin, maybe perhaps the second. Scott Black is the player who's come on, played 20s last year. Only involvement this season was in the defeat last time out against Wolves. Marshall. Parker. Parker attempted the ambitious cut back inside. Carboni was there to cut out any semblance of an opportunity for South United. It's as good as a cross though for Russell Parker, a throw-in in this position. Slightly curved run up. It's a really good throw right onto the head of Klebo, made a good run. Joseph can't keep that ball in despite his endeavours, and he's worked so hard tonight as Moses Joseph. He's been pushed forward into attack in an attacking position with the introduction of Black. Short on options perhaps. It's Mark Dykeman. It's a good ball by Ono to Sherwood. Can he grab another before the end of the match? Has Booth in support. Chooses instead to go all the way back to Lambert. Lambert squares to O'Brien. O'Brien chips over the top of the head of Ono, comfortably gathered by Tubbs. Tubbs absolutely launches this one, and it'll go straight to his opposite number, Curtis Goodwin. O'Brien wants it on this near side. He's got a lot of space. Attempted throw. Goodwin holds on to it and rolls the ball out, and will now play the ball out to Booth. Ambitious. Booth is not the tallest. You'd have to have been 10 feet tall to keep that one in. Robinson read that one well, but his clearing header's only as far as Marshall. Now Chungu. Klebo reverses. It will be a free kick. Heard a suggestion of a yellow card. Don't think it will be though. It's Jeju, I think, who's down over on that far side of the field. As I've already mentioned, Zijad Ahmetovic has kept his cards in his pockets by and large for the majority of the match. The only player who has been cautioned is Capalaba number 19, Jake Sherwood, when he gave away a penalty after fouling Russell Parker. Jacob Mitchell ended up missing. That was when the score was at 2-0. Nathan Yoon scoring the opening penalty of the game, and Stuart Edgar doubling the advantage for Capalaba. And since that point and the missed penalty, Capalaba have scored two more. One at the end of the first half as Curtis Goodwin gathers that one strongly and confidently and plays the ball out to Ono. Ono did get there and then couldn't keep it in. He can see the funny side. I guess when you're leading by 4-0, smile is never far away. Callis didn't have much room to work with and ends up getting caught out. Carboni, not quite sure who he was trying to find with that pass. Connor Booth was closest, but it would be a disservice to the diminutive midfielder to suggest that he could have got there. Callis. It's a heavy touch initially, and then he gets past his marker. Booth is back there though. Booth is brilliant in those situations. Challenge gets ridden fairly well there by Carboni. Carboni still has possession. He finds Lambert. Brilliant football from Capalaba. Lambert's going to go on a bit of a rampage here. Finds Booth on the outside. Booth has two options in the middle. Yoon is all on his own at the back post if he can find him. Instead it's Sherwood. Josh Sherwood gets the ball caught under his feet, and Lockie Bond pounces and hammers the ball clear, but that's a really poor clearance in the end, and an opportunity for Nathan Yoon. He has space on this left-hand side of the field. He's going to cut inside and shape to shoot, you'd expect. Instead, he gets challenged and the ball is at the feet of Lambert. Lambert looks like he's going for the corner. It's not something I particularly enjoy seeing. O'Brien. Oh no. Lambert being told to stay in the corner. Instead, he crosses just too high for Connor Booth, who was backpedaling furiously to get into a better position to head that ball towards goal. Instead, he could only skid it off the top of his crown and out for a goal kick. Full time in Mackay in the National Premier League's Queensland, and Brisbane City have run out 5-0 winners against the Magpies Crusaders. Gold Coast Knights have beaten Brisbane Royal Youth by 3-0. Lions beat South West Queensland Thunder up on the range by 4-1 earlier this afternoon. Mitchelton got a late winner against Woonham. They led and win, by 2-1. Logan Lightning won earlier against Southside Eagles by 4-0, and the scoreline here, of course, at John Fredericks Park is 4-0. Can South United get a goal in consolation? It's aimed onto the head of Klebo, who claims he was caught by the punch of Curtis Goodwin. Goodwin was well within his rights to have a go, though. Right up the other end now, Capalaba on the counter-attack. Nathan Yoon looking for his second, first from open play. Instead, he feeds a teammate. It was a poor pass, though, and really disappointing from Carboni. Carboni is going to be shown a yellow card, in fact. Only the second card of the game. He'll be disappointed in that, and it was born out of frustration, I think. 2 games tomorrow in the Football Queensland Premier League. Ipswich Knights taking on Rochdale Rovers, 3 o'clock. Out in the west for that one. And Sunshine Coast Wanderers will take on Holland Park Hawks up on the Sunshine Coast at 4. I'll be up on the Sunshine Coast on Wednesday night at 8:30 when the Wanderers take on Southside Eagles at Ballinger Park. Hope you can join us for that one, as a free kick is given right on the edge of the penalty area in favour of South United, who will be desperate to maintain their streak of scoring in every game so far this season, even though they've only won 1 and drawn 1, lost the other 4 in all competitions. Looks like it could be a long season for South United, judging on this performance, and a fruitful season for Capalaba. Jingu's not shy of having a go. That was a disappointing effort on the bounce. That's all we're going to see here at John Fredericks Park. Cheers from the home supporters, and they'll do well to cheer. Capalaba running out 4-0 winners over South United. An early penalty for Nathan Yoon opening the scoring. Stuart Edgar grabbing a second midway through the first half. Then South United's best opportunity from the spot after Jake Sherwood hacked down Russell Parker on his rampaging run into the penalty area. Up stepped Jacob Mitchell, who saw his penalty saved by the hugely impressive prospect in goal for Capalaba, Curtis Goodwin. And after that, the one-way traffic continued. On his 50th appearance, Justin McMullen managed to score the 3rd goal on the stroke of half-time, and then just a few moments ago, Josh Sherwood managed to get Capalaba's 4th, as they score 4 goals in the league for the 4th game in succession. Thank you very much for joining me, Simon Smale, here at John Fredericks Park. It's been a pleasure to bring you this Football Queensland Premier League match on behalf of Football Queensland for Double Take Productions. And it's been an interesting game. Capalaba look the goods so far this season. They'll continue to challenge at the top of the table. They move up into second spot, temporarily at least, with Knights and Wanderers yet to play. They will play on Sunday, as we've already mentioned. But that'll just about do us here from Capalaba. So enjoy the rest of your footballing weekend, and we hope to see you next time on the Football Queensland live stream. Simon Smale signing off from Capalaba. Good night.